After looking at one league where I had mostly Reebok jerseys of, it's now time to look at another league I have mostly Reeboks of. Yup, it's time to look at the NHL. I spent most of last year obtaining the bulk of my Blackhawks collection that I'm going to show today, with some easier to find than others and even getting lucky a few times. Like my Bears jerseys, majority of my Blackhawks jerseys are Jonathan Toews, as I loved my captain even after his retirement due to unfortunately having a weak immune system that sidelined him during the COVID days. Apparently he is poised for a comeback, but that has yet to happen at the time of this recording. It is very unfortunate, but I hope to see the day 19 is added to the rafters, as well as 88 and 2 and maybe some other numbers as well. Also, my brother got a Patrick Kane jersey at the same time I got a Toews one. Reebok held the NHL license from 2005 to 2017 with 3 generations. The first generation lasted from 2005 to 2007 and were identical to the previous CCM and Coho jerseys that players wore from 2000 to 2004 before the 2004-2005 lockout, save for the Reebok logo replacing both logos on the back of the neck and left cuff. The second generation has become known as Edge 1.0 and was Reebok's first attempt at their own templates, as well as the first time the NHL logo was predominantly featured, as it was migrated from the rear flap to front and center similar to the NFL jerseys. This lasted until 2011 with the introduction of Edge 2.0, which carried the brand until 2017 when Adidas took over. The easiest way to distinguish Edge 1.0 and 2.0 jerseys are the logos. 1.0 uses the traditional Reebok logo, while 2.0 uses the word mark. Unlike most teams in 2007, the Blackhawks didn't change their jerseys in the Edge 1.0 takeover, though there were many outdoor game jerseys, which is the bulk of my collection. Their on-ice jerseys feature chain stitching on the front crest and shoulder patches, with the only other North American team to have chain stitching on their home and roads being the St. Louis Cardinals. It's definitely a lost art. Yeah, I'm aware of other instances like the Winnipeg Jets throwback, but that's only worn part-time. When you go out and buy Blackhawks jerseys, you'll find chain stitching on the mid-tier Indonesian-made Authentic, or Indo-Authentic, and the top-tier Made in Canada jerseys, which are one-to-one with the players wear on the ice and are designed to be worn over pads along with a fight strap, whereas the Indo-Authentic has the Made in Canada details, but on more normal-fitting jerseys. I have the Reebok Premier versions, and they're the low-tier jerseys, but unlike an NFL Reebok replica, there's more going on than just screen printing and no fight strap. The front crest is fully embroidered, but with 2 exceptions. It's heat pressed on, and it's not out of the ordinary for bits to peel up or start bubbling. I actually had to fix part of this one. And that's not just a Reebok thing. Every other jersey before the Reebok era does this, whether it be CCM, Coho, Nike, and Starter. They also heat pressed on the front crest as well. And then there's the shoulder patches, which are floppy, vinyl, and have their details screen printed on. Unlike Reebok's NFL offerings, which were all made of nylon, all of the Reebok jerseys I have are 100% polyester. One last distinction that Premiers have is that they're the only jerseys with jock tags, with one exception. A few are also factory customized, which means they were ordered with a name and number on them, but majority of them were blanks that I sent to Exclusive Pro Sports in Rockford, where they gained the accurate layered look. This isn't sponsored by them, but man, would it be cool if it was. I also like to find excuses to put patches on my jerseys, and not just Winter Classic and Stadium Series patches, as you'll see soon, because I saw players wear them on the ice and they're cool. That's all the justification you'll ever need to put a patch on a jersey. We'll get back to these later, but finally, let's take a gander at what I've got. This home jersey was my first ever hockey jersey. It's a June 2015 Edge 2.0 and a factory customized jersey. It was a Christmas present from my uncle, and I got Jonathan Toews while my brother got Patrick Kane like earlier, because of course 2 brothers had to have the 2 faces of a dynasty. Oh, but what's this? A 2007 Edge 1.0 version? And both of these jerseys have patches on them? Now we're talking. Just like on Reebok's NFL jerseys, you can figure out the year a jersey was made by the last 2 digits of the style code on the tag, albeit it's located inside the body instead of the back of the neck, but all Edge 2.0 jerseys have an additional tag that shows both the month and year it was made. The material on both feels thinner in some places, but it might be because I've had the 2015 one the longest. I don't know, it's just different feelings from one that's been used for a decade now and another that came from eBay. These are both large because I remember not liking the fit of a medium when I tried one on months prior on my own at a Dick's Sporting Goods. One interesting note on two of my Edge 1.0 jerseys are the neck tags having the CCM logo on them because CCM and Coho were bought by Reebok in 2004, hence why those early Reebok jerseys were identical to the previous CCM and Coho offerings. I do love this jersey and overall design as it's timeless and, in my non-biased opinion, one of, if not the best look in the league. As for what I don't like, it's the factory customized numbers. The vinyl they used is super flimsy, and whereas you can ignore the shoulder patches due to their placement, you can't ignore these numbers. Letters on the nameplate are fine, but the numbers in Captain Patch aren't. Look at these creases on the back number. You'd think I was tossing this on the ground like a barbarian, but I wasn't. I hung this up in a closet. Sure, you could fix them, but instead I'll be stripping this and having a multi-layered number kit put on this instead. If you want my advice, if you're searching through eBay, you'll be fine with a blank jersey, and if you decide to put a name on it, go ahead and send it to a customizer of your choosing, or apply a number kit yourself if you're skilled enough. If you do buy a factory customized jersey off eBay or Facebook, you'll be fine cause I'm admittedly being anal about this. Funny enough, I got my wife a factory customized women's jersey which features multi-layers, but it's all heat pressed on. For anyone else out there who's gotten their wife or girlfriend a women's Reebok jersey with a name and number on it, or the 3% of my audience who are women that bought themselves a Reebok women's jersey with a name on it, did they all come heat pressed or did it depend on the outlet it came from? It's rather interesting that the factory customized women's jerseys have multi-layered numbers that are only heat pressed, while the men's jerseys are single layered vinyl that's stitched down. Might get this all sewn down before the end of the year. Of course, Reebok redid the collar to accommodate the NHL logo by putting it on a piece of fabric that goes behind the collar for this effect. As for how I plan to represent these two jerseys, the 1.0 will be a Taze rookie jersey with the Bill Wirtz commemorative patch, which you can see here with his initials and a feather on one of the sides. It's actually a very nice patch and mirrors the other commemorative patches that the team has done since. And my 2.0 will be my 2015 Stanley Cup jersey as they did win that cup at home. Right now, the patches are just heat pressed on as my sewing machine is unfortunately broken, but once I send these off to be customized, they will be sewn down. So keep that in mind moving forward. I will say I do love this Stanley Cup patch and the overall design, and frankly it's amazing it lasted from 2009 to 2021. It's just, makes me feel like a kid again. The current Stanley Cup patch is okay with the banner and cup on it, but this one here, this is the superior look. The Edge 2.0 road jersey is a September 2015 and factory customized. However, I got this in 2023 off of Full Moon Jerseys on eBay, an overstock seller. Meanwhile, my 2007 Road 1.0 also came from eBay and is a blank like the red version. Reebok overproduced plenty of jerseys like the Blackhawks ones as they were a dynasty during that era, so obviously they'd want to capitalize on that. This detail was very beneficial as 2.0s on the aftermarket can be found anywhere for cheap. 1.0s tend to be on the expensive side and not as common as their red counterparts, which is what my experience tracking this specific jersey down was like. Since I've only had this white 2.0 for 2 years, the plastic numbers are in better condition, but again, I'm not a fan of them and hate how they feel. Like mentioned earlier, if you're not picky like me, you'll be fine with a factory customized jersey. I know Full Moon still has plenty of these still in stock with other players on them, even though you don't typically see many people rocking the road white because God forbid if this was to get dirty. Again, not sponsored by them. I'm just pointing it out, okay? Before anyone gets on me. I do want to use this section to distinguish the genuine article from fakes because there's a ton of them. Fake Hawks jerseys always get the skin tone wrong and it always looks like he's got the mumps. The shoulder patches are also small, skitty, and embroidered with no chain stitching on the main crest, and often the front crest isn't a separate patch like it's meant to. It's embroidered directly onto the jersey. So like a Michelin-esque power play. Of course, bubbly crests, misshaped NHL logos, inaccurate nameplate and number sizing, and phony made in Canada tags are classic staples of fake jerseys of every team as well. As for what I intend for these two, as if you couldn't already guess from the heat press patches on, Edge 1.0 will be this 2010 Stanley Cup jersey, jersey, and 2.0 will be the 2013 Stanley Cup jersey. Interesting note, the 2010 patch is slightly smaller than the 2013 and 2015 patches, and I got the 2010-2013 patches both from Patch Collection, so it's not an anomaly. Oh, and I should also mention that all patches shown came from eBay, whether it be Patch Collection or some other source. It's all still good regardless, which is the same that I can say for these jerseys as well. Ooh, an Edge 1.0 from 2008 without a 2.0 counterpart for me to show firsthand, and it's the black alternate. Fun fact, this was only ever worn in the 08-09 season during the Reebok Edge era and never again. I know there's Edge 2.0 versions of the black jersey, and those are technically fashion jerseys since they never wore those. Just like that Bears orange fashion jersey, this is color swapped from the white road as indicated by the cuffs. This one, well, I got lucky and found this as a blank for fairly cheap. Although looking at the shoulder patches, that might explain it. I've considered the idea of replacing these with embroidered patches, but that's a low priority right now for me. Because the details are only printed on, they're susceptible to getting scratched. Not fun. Since this was customized by Exclusive Pro Sports, we've got double twill numbers that are high quality and aren't crap. Precisely why I'm stripping my 2.0 home and road and getting them professionally done. EPS goes for the on-ice specifications, and the sizing of everything seems pretty accurate from cross-referencing photos of the game-worn jerseys. Looking at the size of the numbers, it does seem as if the on-ice sizing is bigger than the plastic factory customized number kits. The nameplate is also shorter on the black jersey since Taze is a short last name compared to how long the nameplate is on a factory customized jersey, as if this was meant to have a longer last name like Seabrook for instance. My guess is that Reebok had all their nameplates in one size to save a couple bucks rather than multiple different sizes for each last name. Although, listings for a factory customized black jersey are up in the hundreds, and let me tell you, that is not worth it at all. Just hunt down a blank and get it professionally done. Okay, now for my last Edge 1.0 jersey from the second ever Winter Classic at Wrigley Field against the Red Wings. A factory customized 2009 Winter Classic, kind of. This jersey is a throwback to 1935 with a 1941 logo. The ones worn in the game didn't have shoulder patches and had black laces instead of the beige ones you have here. There were jerseys of that original made and featured the first gen Reebok neck tag for some reason, as missing the NHL logo. The same goes for the Detroit jersey from that game too. After the Winter Classic, the team kept this as an alternate throwback for a couple years, and that's where the shoulder patches and beige laces come from. Maybe one day I'll get the actual Winter Classic jersey, but I'm not sure right now. There's also a CCM Classics version of this jersey, which is a hybrid of the two. You've got the black laces and absent NHL logo of the Winter Classic version, but it also has the alternate shoulder patches. Keep this in mind if you decide to track this down. While image searching, I was reminded of the Adidas Team Classics version of this. That jersey omits the NHL logo and shoulder patches just like the Winter Classic version, but has the alternate's beige laces instead of black. To think, two recreations of the original Reebok got it wrong. I did add the Winter Classic patch to this, and I must note that not every outdoor game patch came with its corresponding patch. It's that reason why I'm hesitant, because they're so similar, and unlike getting Edge 1.0 home and roads to represent different points in time, I'm fine with just having this jersey. And what we've got is one of my favorite Blackhawks jerseys of all time. You've got a crest made out of felt for that vintage feel and a body stripe that, like Montreal, goes all the way around. But like my other two factory customized jerseys, the vinyl numbers suck! Besides not feeling good to the touch, another reason to hate these are the scratches they accumulate as shown here. The only real benefit of the plastic numbers is that you know it's real in an eBay listing considering how many fakes of this jersey there are out there. If you come across one of these Winter Classic jerseys with black laces but it has the NHL logo, unless the original owner added that NHL logo himself, or if it's game worn, it's fake. It's 50-50 on whether you get a genuine Winter Classic version or an alternate, but whichever way you go, you're spending at least triple digits, because I sure did. They've held their value well. And now prepare yourself, as between 2014 and 2019, the Hawks played an outdoor game in 5 out of those 6 seasons. Okay, now it's Edge 2.0 from this point on until Reebok ended their contract. Here's the 2014 Stadium Series jersey from its first year, where we saw the Devils and Islanders both play the Rangers at Yankee Stadium, the Kings and Ducks play at Dodger Stadium, and finally concluded with the Hawks playing the Penguins at Soldier Field. Now, while this looks similar to the black alternate, I assure you these are completely different. The Stadium Series jersey has a lace-up collar, whereas the alternate doesn't. The Stadium Series hemline and arm stripes are angled to look futuristic, and you've got a printed chrome crest on the Stadium Series as opposed to a traditionally embroidered logo, chain-stitched or otherwise. This predates Fanatics breakaway jerseys by 3 years, and after handling those in person and comparing to this, the crest feels more delicate, and not just because it's more rare than your run-of-the-mill breakaway. And man, have I seen many fakes of this jersey. None of them replicate this crest. I have yet to find a fake of them that has printed details like this one. It's worth noting that unlike the jerseys I showed off previously, this crest is stitched all the way around instead of heat pressed. Maybe Reebok did that because this would peel off easier than a standard crest? I don't know. This also didn't come with the Stadium Series patch on the right shoulder, so I had to add one myself. The 2012 Winter Classic was the first year the league migrated the outdoor game patch to the right shoulder, and while I don't mind it, I always liked it on the front, but at the same time they've been liking the bigger logos that are more fitting for the shoulders anyways. I was lucky to find a guy on Facebook selling this with no blemishes on the crest, as it's quite common to see these folded or scratched. Oh, yeah, and don't ever fold a hockey crest ever. Not even once. He was asking $50 for it, so I was definitely lucky. The only major detail difference compared to the authentic is the lone shoulder patch being embroidered but not chain stitched, as opposed to the typical Reebok Premier shoulder patch as seen here. This was also customized by EPS, and it's interesting seeing these early Stadium Series jerseys because while ones lately have giant numbers on both the sleeves and the back, the ones from this year only do it on the back numbers except for the Devils who wore throwbacks, which, yes, means the sleeve numbers are exactly the same as they are on the black alternate. I've never been the biggest fan of the back numbers on any of these 2014 Stadium Series jerseys because it's quite obvious someone just took the stretch tool in Photoshop and stretched out their standard font. The same goes for the Penguins jersey from this game as well. Because unlike the Winter Classic and Heritage Classic that go for throwback looks, Stadium Series aims for futurism and looks that are so out there. This was the last of the pre-Fanatics jerseys that I got my hands on due to its rarity, and if you want one yourself, good freaking luck. I do like to wear this because of its rarity, but if it wasn't for that aspect, overall, not one of their best. The very next year, for the 2015 Winter Classic, the Blackhawks went to Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. to take on the Capitals. For this year, Washington went for a faux-back look as if they existed in the 40s. The Hawks, based off the number kit provided by EPS, sleeve stripes, and elbow patches, screams the 50s, but still features the current logo as opposed to a throwback logo. So yeah, very strange hybrid, and it only gets stranger from here. You notice something missing? Yeah, the jock tag. No, I didn't remove it. There never was one here to begin with. The front crest is also stitched down like the 2014 Stadium Series jersey, which is interesting. And if this was an authentic, the crest and C's on the elbows would be chain stitched. It is unique for the C's to be embroidered here, and you know it's real when they're nice and large and not pathetically small. It also has an early example of what's been dubbed the hanger effect, where something's printed on the back of the neck and is fully visible when it's hung up. As for the material, this isn't Reebok material and is instead more akin to CCM from the feel and how porous it is. Why it is like this, I don't know. And to further hammer in the CCM comparisons, the arm stripes are sublimated instead of being different pieces stitched together like it'd normally be. It's okay if not a bit wacky and was one of 3 consecutive outdoor white jerseys for the team. I added the Winter Classic patch myself as it didn't originally come with one. I got this from a local outlet called Pro Jersey Sports who still had a ton of these still in stock, which tells me not many scooped this up, and honestly I don't blame them. It's okay, but frankly if you've got the regular white version, I don't know why you need this unless you're a completionist. Then came the next year, 2016, Stadium Series in Minnesota against the Wild at TCF Bank Stadium. Both jerseys from this game are similar looking, and this was never one of my favorites even before obtaining my own. Full Moon Jerseys had this up for $40, so at least I didn't spend too much. Didn't come with a Stadium Series patch, so I added that myself on the sleeve because the numbers occupy the shoulders. You don't see too many hockey jerseys that have the numbers up there like in football. Only others from the last decade off the top of my head are that one Oilers Heritage Classic and the current Panthers lineup. I also washed this before sending it to EPS, and when it hung up to dry, one of the corners of the neck tag came loose, so I had EPS also fix that on top of adding the nameplate and numbers. Even if this was an authentic with a chain stitched logo and chain stitched C's on the elbows, it wouldn't change my opinion. They've got black shoulders, some black on the hemline to go with the typical arm stripes, and that's it. The body is so empty that it makes the logo look like it's in a void. This also has a different style of collar and looks like a precursor to the Adidas collar. All 4 Stadium Series jerseys from 2016 used this collar, but only the Hawks had part of it in a different color. Because of this, every team that used this collar design even after this Stadium Series had this seam going across part of it. The stars from the city flag are on it, but they're only heat pressed on, and I fear they'll fall off as time goes on. You may notice this is a medium instead of a large, and it fits me. It's fine to wear if it's hot out, while wearing a white jersey is almost essential. Oddly, there's a ton of fakes of this. Was it that popular? I can't remember, but this one being popular? Come on, guys. Last Reebok jersey, the 2017 Winter Classic from the first time they played the Blues in a Winter Classic, except this was in St. Louis at Busch Stadium. Whereas the 2015 Winter Classic jersey had throwback elements but didn't fully commit to it, this fully commits. This represents the 1955 to 1959 white jersey, though the C's on the elbows are colored differently, probably because this was the 3rd straight white outdoor jersey with elbow C's for the team. So they tried to differentiate this, even though I'm sure most people would mistake any of these for one another. Hell, it even uses the same number kit as the 2015 jersey. Definitely made this easy for EPS. The collar is also rigid like the old school sweaters it's meant to replicate, with laces as well, which is nice. This is also a medium, but was the first outdoor jersey I got that had the Winter Classic patch on it, so I didn't have to buy it separately. The smaller logo on the front is odd, and you already guessed correctly that the authentic has chain stitching on the crest and the C's. Of the 3 white outdoor jerseys, this is my favorite, and I still wish to see the team bring out a red version of this jersey for an outdoor game, even if it's in 2035. And thus, the Reebok era came to an end. When Adidas took over in 2017, the Hawks had 2 variants of home and road jerseys like under Reebok, but this time it was because of the collar, and I own none of those. Maybe I will someday, but it's currently low on my priorities. Instead, I've got the 2019 Winter Classic and both reverse retros. All 3 are mid-tier Indo Authentics because I wanted the Adidas version and wasn't into the low-tier Fanatics breakaway versions. As for the made in Canada jerseys, Adidas never made them available at retail, so they're hard to come across. Distinguishing fake Adidas jerseys is similar to the all fake Reeboks, though they also always like to add the buttons on the bottom of all of them, something that was reserved only for the first year Adidas jerseys. Much like the Reebok jerseys, Adidas's offerings are 100% polyester, although my Reverse Retro 2.0 comes from the second year of Adidas Prime Green, meaning it's made of 100% recycled polyester. And on top of that, amongst the wash tags inside the body is a tag that states the month and year the jersey was made, much like the Edge 2.0 jerseys, though Reverse Retro 2 tucks it in on the left shoulder. Adidas was at least thankful to maintain this tag that tells you the month and year your jersey was made. Anyways, after taking a break in the 2017-2018 season from outdoor games, the Hawks were back into it at Notre Dame Stadium against the Bruins. These jerseys throw back to 1927 before the team added red and were simply black and white. It's a size 50, which is the equivalent to a medium, and didn't come with a Winter Classic patch, so I had to add one myself. EPS of course did the customizing job, and the numbers are felt just like the crest, and said crest also features chain stitching, which is nice even if you can't see it from a distance. The felt feels very nice and helps emphasize the vintage look. Fantastic all around. I also added the Stan Mikita commemorative patch as well to further emphasize the on-ice accuracy. Much like the NFL going from Reebok to Nike, there are differences differences between the templates, though Adidas also added dimples on the shoulders, which are more prominent on the actual on-ice product, and made the armpit areas porous, which is definitely something I can get behind. Adidas also made hemline stripes conform to the curved bottom of the jersey instead of going straight across like they had before. This jersey also has Climalite on it from the initial run of Adidas jerseys, which was their equivalent to Under Armour or Nike Dry Fit for anyone curious. I didn't like how monochrome this was when I initially saw this when it came out, but now I enjoy this. I like the shoulder stripes, the crest is beautiful, and I even like the pop of green from the patch as well as all 6 Stanley Cups on the back of the collar. And since this is an Indo-authentic, it also has a fight strap on the back. Not that you wear this with pads underneath, of course. Adidas also brought up the shiny chrome NHL logos as opposed to the embroidered logos that Reebok had, on top of more football-like collars. This jersey has an old school sweater collar look and perfectly fits the era it's meant to represent. Reverse Retro was introduced in 2020 and meant to be Adidas's unique mark on the NHL. It was taking throwbacks but flipping the colors, and if you couldn't already guess, some did this better than others. Like all but one of those outdoor jerseys I showed, this was a blank that I had turned into Taze, but Taze didn't play in the COVID sorting season. Don't care. Plus they made factory customized jerseys with this name and number on them anyways, so shut up. This was also the first Adidas jersey I got my hands on and is a 52, their equivalent to a large. This also sports Aero Ready, as that was what Adidas rebranded Climalite to. So according to the back of the collar, this is meant to represent 1940, but that's not entirely accurate. This is more of a reverse of the white jersey in 1948, unless you want to say this is the barber pole worn in 1940 with the stripes all blacked out, and the 1941 version of the logo like on the 09 Winter Classic jersey, or the white jersey from that year but replaced the front football style number with the actual logo. This is also most likely one of the last times we'll ever see this specific logo on an on-ice jersey, because 2020 was also the year native-based teams were targeted to change, resulting in the Washington Redskins, Cleveland Indians, and Edmonton Eskimos being canceled. I still like the logo and how crisp the details are, though I still love the felt on the Winter Classic version. This was the first jersey I ever sent to EPS and is why I still use them today. Again, still not sponsored. This jersey was also a nice Rally House pickup as they still had blanks available. Seeing the black with the red on the shoulders is a stunning look, an effect shared with the Stars RR2 and the Penguins RR2, so what a way for this logo to go out on. Having this in person, I get why Adidas made the collar the way they did. This pentagon where the NHL logo sits mimics the triangle it resided in on the Reebok jerseys, with any coloring resembling where it was placed on the Reebok version. So while some people hate the Adidas collar, I can see where they were coming from when they created this. Reverse Retro 2.0 from 2022 was a Christmas present that Santa found from Rally House and as a factory customized number kit. However, this was the first year they ditched the plastic numbers and it was solely double twill again. Another unique thing is the orange NHL logo instead of the chrome one to add to its retroness, as well as this version of the Adidas logo. It's supposedly based on their 1938 jersey, but can you tell what's missing? Yeah, a logo. I don't mind the barber pole stripes on their own, though I wish the shoulders were black to help break up the red on top. But with no logo and a word mark instead that goes across your stomach, man, does this change the overall character of the jersey. It's like one of those Indian sea hats. Sure, the logo is on top of the left shoulder, but this still sucks. This is also one of the few, if not the only Adidas jersey to not have the porous armpits, probably because it'd break up the stripes all over the body if I had to guess. The number kit is inspired by the 2019 Winter Classic and it's fine, but no logo has made this considered the Blackhawks' worst jersey, and it's going to take a bigger blunder to top this. Do I regret getting it? No, especially for its place in history. If I was a casual though, this would be an easy skip. And last but not least, from everyone's favorite company, Fanatics. Specifically the 2025 Winter Classic jersey. Well, technically the game against the Blues at Wrigley Field was played celebrate on New Year's Eve in the 2024 calendar year, not 2025. Hell, even the logo doesn't have a year on it like it would otherwise have. Anyways, of course, the 24-25 season is the first year of Fanatics jerseys, and this specifically is a Fanatics Premium jersey, which is their equivalent to the Indo Authentic. And unlike Adidas, the Made in Canada jerseys are widely available, dubbed the Fanatics Authentic Pro with an unfortunate acronym, though Santa Claus could only afford so much this past Christmas. Have you seen the economy still recovering? There have been fakes popping up, and in addition to the fake Made in Canada tags, the fakes still have the chrome NHL logo that Adidas had rather than the holographic NHL logo that a real Fanatics Premium and Authentic Pro jersey has, as well as the lace-up collar being made out of bungee cord, whereas on the real one, it's not. Unlike my Bears 1936 throwback, I opted to get a current player that actually wore this jersey and got a factory customized Connor Bedard one. I just wanted Pookie, okay? If you got a captain like Nick Foligno from factory, it didn't come with the captain or alternate patch on them for some reason, so I played it safe. One thing I appreciate is no ads on either jersey for this game, though they'd be added back as both the Hawks and St. Louis wore them during the season after this game. This also carried over to the Stadium Series jerseys for Columbus and Detroit. MLB should take a hint. The template is the same as Adidas until Fanatics comes up with their own template whenever that happens. It is devoid of the dimples on the shoulders, which many people miss, I'm indifferent, and has the screen printed Fanatics neck tag as well as being 100% polyester like the rest of them as I've shown already. But unfortunately I can't seem to locate a date tag to tell you the month and year this jersey was made like I can with the rest of my collection, so unless I missed it, I'm just gonna assume Fanatics omitted that tag. I like the felt roundel on the front similar to the 2019 jersey, except this is in color so I can fully appreciate the chain stitching. And it has the stars from the city flag as well. Even got an Easter egg on the back. The body stripe is eye-catching, mimicking their usual home headline stripe, even though it doesn't continue on the back. I also love this felt number kit, and while I acknowledge I wanted a single layered kit to go for the more retro feel, this is better. The back numbers have pinstripes just like the Cubs home jerseys, and even the 5s for this jersey are designed like how the Cubs do 5s. This came with the Winter Classic patch on the shoulder, and it's neat to see this one compared to the first Wrigley Field patch from 2009. These jerseys are still available from most retailers as of the time of this recording. Whether you want to get a factory customized jersey or a blank one is up to you, but like anything, get it while supplies last. Why do I feel like I've been an ad for this whole video? Ugh. So that'll do it for today. Unlike my NFL collection, I don't have jerseys from other teams just because of lack of interest and focusing on paying my bills as jerseys come second. I'm still considering a few Coyotes jerseys as it's still up in the air if they'll return. I've also debated dipping into the pre-Reebok Edge jerseys, but it'll be a long time before I do that. Anyways, be sure to subscribe as well as ring that notification bell on top of leaving a comment and following me on X and TikTok. Catch you later!